Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the fascinating world of product presentation. You know that feeling when you're standing in a store aisle, just staring at dozens of almost identical items? Well, what actually drives you to pick one over the others? That's exactly what we're going to explore today. We'll look at how a product's invisible identity, its brand, and its physical shell, its packaging, work perfectly together to win you over.
Think about it for a second. Have you ever bought something simply because the box looked incredible? Or maybe you reached for a specific item just because of the name printed on the front, blindly trusting it over a cheaper alternative. We literally all do it, and there's a very specific, fascinating science and strategy behind exactly why we make those choices.
So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The power of branding. 2. Choosing a brand strategy. 3. The science of packaging. 4. Functions of a package. And finally, 5. Navigating the legal landscape. Consider this your secret recipe to understanding how products make that journey from the factory floor directly into your home.
Okay, moving right into Section 1, the power of branding, the invisible identity. The really crucial point to grasp here is that branding isn't just coming up with a catchy name. Fundamentally, it's an identification tool. Whether it's a word, a specific device, or a symbol, a brand exists to help you, the consumer, instantly recall a product and differentiate it from a massive sea of competitors who are offering something remarkably similar. Drawing directly from our source material from IGNU, the People's University, we can see that historically, a simple family surname, think Ford or Siemens, well, that was usually enough to get by. But today, with market competition growing incredibly severe, modern branding isn't just a name anymore. It is an absolutely vital survival tool to help consumers navigate these really complex, crowded markets. Notice this fascinating split between what you can say out loud versus what you visually recognize. A brand name consists of words you can actually vocalize, like Colgate or Dove. A brand mark, on the other hand, is purely a visual identity. Think of the famous Mercedes star, or the T in a circle you might see on telco trucks. They both drive identification, for sure, but they hack entirely different senses to get into your brain.
All right, let's jump to Section 2, choosing a brand strategy. Strategic branding approaches.
This brings us to a massive pivot decision for manufacturers. Do you bundle everything under one trusted umbrella? Family branding, which is used by companies like Kissin or Videocon, is highly cost-effective. You promote one, you sell them all. But, it's risky. If one product fails or suffers a quality drop, the whole family takes a hit. On the flip side is individual branding, which is favored by giants like Hindustan Unilever. Every single product gets its own distinct name. It's way more expensive to develop up front, but it creates this amazing firewall. If one product flops, your main corporate portfolio is perfectly safe.
Then we have the hybrid approach, which is brand extension. This is where companies strategically squeeze extra mileage out of an already massive hit. Imagine capitalizing on the immense, beloved success of Maggi noodles to launch entirely new grocery items under that exact same, highly trusted name. It almost guarantees instant consumer trust and recognition right off the shelf.
But what happens when a product's life cycle stalls out? Enter brand repositioning. Over time, as consumer preferences inevitably shift, a brand might completely change its target audience. Our source material notes how the beverage Thumbs Up went through quite the identity shift. They moved their marketing focus from the young to professionals, then down to kids, and then eventually right back to the young again. It's a highly calculated move to revive and optimize their standing in the market.
Let's move right along to Section 3, the science of packaging, the physical shell.
Now that we understand the invisible identity, let's look at the physical armor. Packaging is actually considered by some marketers to be a crucial fifth P of the marketing mix, sitting right alongside product, price, place, and promotion. It's really a dual discipline. It's the positive science and technology of materials combined seamlessly with the behavioral art of product design to actually motivate buyers.
Let's visually unbox a product, layer by layer, to see the 3 distinct levels of packaging material in action. Say you buy shaving cream. The tube physically holding the cream is the primary package. That tube usually comes inside a hard paper box, which is the secondary package. And let's be honest, that's often thrown away before you even use the product. Finally, to get to the store in the first place, dozens of those boxes were transported in a large corrugated cardboard box, which serves as the shipping package.
Okay, Section 4. Functions of a package. What it actually does.
What is the real job of that package once it leaves the shipping box and sits on a self-service store shelf? Well, a successful package has to perfectly juggle 5 core functions. First, protection. It has to survive rough handling and stop bacterial contamination or pilferage. Second, appeal. In a self-service store, the package is literally your silent salesman, sometimes even acting as a status symbol. Third, performance. Think of an aerosol spray. If the mechanical package fails, the product is completely useless. Fourth, convenience. It needs to be easy to open, use, and dispose of. And finally, fifth, cost-effectiveness. You have to carefully balance the cost of fancy materials against storage, handling, and potential transit losses.
When it comes to that appeal function, consumer research is incredibly revealing. The specific color of a wrapper or the physical shape of a container taps directly into consumer psychology. For instance, slender, elegant containers are often used for beauty care products to instantly project an image of refinement. And because people in different countries have totally divergent sociocultural backgrounds, global brands have to meticulously navigate these diverse color and design preferences to succeed worldwide.
All right, our final stop is Section 5, Navigating the Legal Landscape, the Rules of the Game.
Let's land the plane by looking at the strict legal boundaries protecting the brand and the package. We often use the terms brand and trademark interchangeably in casual conversation, but legally, they are completely different things. Under the Trademarks Act of 1999 in India, a trademark is strictly a brand that has been appropriated by one seller and given exclusive legal protection.
This contrast shows a really vital difference. Anyone can create a brand to identify a product, but a brand only becomes a trademark when it is registered and legally protected by the government. Once it achieves this status, it earns the right to display that familiar letter R enclosed in a circle. That is the ultimate visual stamp of legal ownership.
But here's the catch. That government protection isn't permanent by default. In India, 10 years is the absolute maximum registration period for a trademark. After that decade is up, the owner must actively renew it. If they don't, they risk losing their exclusive rights and leaving their hard-earned brand wide open to competitors.
And to keep that legal shield intact over those 10 years, companies have to carefully follow specific rules to make sure their brand name doesn't suffer genericization, where it basically just becomes an everyday word. They should pair the brand with a generic term, like Pearl Pet, where Pearl is the brand and PET represents the generic plastic. They must aggressively use the Circle R notice, display the mark in distinct typography, and never use the trademark grammatically as a noun, a verb, or in plural form. It's a rigid, unforgiving system for sure, but it is entirely designed to protect a company's massive investment in their invisible identity. We've definitely covered a lot of ground today, from the psychology of brand names to the rigorous engineering and legal protections of the physical package. So, now that you know the invisible forces and physical sciences driving your purchases, how is this going to change the way you shop tomorrow? Will you look at a product on the shelf and see just a box, or will you see the highly calculated, psychological strategy designed specifically to catch your eye? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning what's behind the products you buy.